You might already be doing it, replaying the start of this video in your head, wondering, was this the right video to click? And now you're noticing something strange. You're thinking about the fact that you're thinking. If that feels familiar, this video is probably meant for you. Welcome to Intellor. If you're interested in intelligent psychology, philosophy, science, economics, and history, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing, and if you enjoy this video, feel free to like and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's begin. Most people believe overthinking is simply worrying too much. A nervous habit like biting your nails or checking your phone every few minutes, but that explanation misses something important. Because for some people, the mind never really turns off. It analyzes conversations. It predicts possible futures. It revisits the past looking for clues, almost like a detective building a case file from tiny details. Neuroscience has a name for the system responsible for much of this. It's called the default mode network. This network activates when your brain is not focused on the outside world. When you're resting, daydreaming, or simply sitting in silence. That's when the mind begins to wander. To the past, to the future, to the things you said yesterday, and the things you might say tomorrow. For most people, this system runs quietly in the background. But for overthinkers, it can feel like someone turned the volume all the way up. And here's the strange part. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. In fact, it's doing something incredibly sophisticated. The real issue isn't thinking. The real issue is getting stuck in a specific kind of thinking. Psychologists call it rumination. Reflection moves forward. Rumination goes in circles. The mind keeps replaying the same moment, searching for an answer that never arrives. And the cruel irony is this. The reason you keep thinking is because part of your brain believes the solution is just one more thought away. But the real mystery isn't what you're thinking about. The real mystery is this. Why does your brain believe it needs to keep thinking at all? Because the answer to that question reveals something about your past that most people never realize. To understand overthinking, we need to look at how the brain learned this habit. For many people, it started earlier than they realize. Maybe you grew up in an environment where you had to read the room carefully, where someone's mood could change quickly, where paying attention helped you avoid conflict. Your brain adapted. It became extremely good at predicting people, scanning tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, tiny emotional shifts. This ability helped you anticipate what might happen next. And from a survival perspective, that's actually impressive. But the brain never received a signal that the environment eventually became safer, so the system kept running. Today, that same mental process activates during ordinary situations. A delayed text message, a short reply from someone, a neutral facial expression during a meeting. And suddenly the mind starts generating explanations. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset with me? Did that message sound rude? Within seconds, your brain can construct an entire story from almost no information. And here's the problem. Your body reacts as if the story were real. Stress hormones rise. Your heart rate increases. The nervous system prepares for danger. But the danger isn't real. It's interpretation. Your brain is simply very good at imagining possibilities. And interestingly, many of these thoughts revolve around one powerful question. How did I come across? That question leads to endless mental replays. Conversations, messages, tiny details, all examined again and again. And strangely enough, this pattern often comes from something positive, empathy. But when empathy never switches off, it slowly becomes exhausting. And that leads to one of the most recognizable habits of every chronic overthinker. Imagine you need to cancel plans with someone. Most people type a quick message. Sorry, something came up. Can we reschedule? And then they send it. Total time, maybe 10 seconds. But an overthinker's brain takes a different path. First the message is written, then it's reread. Suddenly the word sorry feels too apologetic, so it's deleted. Now the message sounds cold, so the apology comes back. Then the word reschedule seems too demanding. Another rewrite. Then another. Sometimes the message is even sent to a friend for review. Does this sound okay? After 15 minutes of editing, the final message often looks almost identical to the first one. But the mental energy spent getting there can feel enormous. Here's the strange part. The same mind that offers incredible compassion to others often refuses to give that same compassion to itself. Overthinkers will spend hours reassuring a friend that they are not a burden. But when the focus turns inward, the inner voice becomes critical, relentless, analytical. Which raises an interesting question. If overthinking creates so much stress, why can't people simply stop? Psychologists discovered something surprising about thought control. In an experiment, participants were given a strange instruction. Do not think about a white bear. At first, they tried, but the moment the restriction ended, the image of the white bear appeared even more often. This became known as the white bear effect. The reason is simple. To suppress a thought, your brain must constantly check whether the thought is appearing, which means part of the mind has to keep monitoring it. Ironically, this keeps the thought active. So the harder you try to force a thought away, the stronger it often returns. That's why advice like just stop thinking about it rarely works. But there is another clue hidden inside overthinking. Many overthinkers make quick decisions about things that don't matter. Food, movies, clothes. But when something truly matters, relationships, identity, important life choices, the mind slows down dramatically. Every possibility must be examined, every risk considered, which reveals something fascinating. Overthinking is not random. It follows the map of what you care about most. People who think deeply often struggle with stillness. Not because they dislike relaxing, but because silence removes the one thing that keeps their thoughts manageable: distraction. During the day, your attention moves constantly. Work, conversations, notifications, tasks. But when everything becomes quiet, the backlog appears. Conversations replay, questions return, unfinished worries surface. This is why many overthinkers stay busy. Activity becomes a volume control for the mind. But eventually, the mind demands attention. And most people ask the wrong question. They ask, how do I stop these thoughts? A more useful question is this: what is this thought trying to protect me from? Because most thinking patterns began for a reason. At some point, being mentally prepared helped you navigate uncertainty. But many of those situations no longer exist. The environment changed, the habit remained. So the goal isn't to eliminate thinking. The goal is to change your relationship with it. Instead of getting pulled into every spiral, you begin noticing the pattern. You see the thought forming. And slowly, you decide how much attention it deserves. The mind may never become completely silent, but it becomes less convincing. And once that happens, something powerful appears: choice. The ability to decide which thoughts deserve your time. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Intellor for more insights on intelligent psychology, philosophy, science, economics, and history. Let me know in the comments which part interested you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.